I'm Steve Millard. I'm one of the quality managers here for Haskell, based right here in the Jacksonville office. And I've been here almost 10 years now. When I started doing these presentations about 7, 8 years ago. And I always like asking this question because when I first started, the only people in the room were from the Jacksonville office. Where's everybody from? We got San Diego folks. I know we've got Mexico folks. Where's everybody else?
Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City, the new one.
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Charlotte.
Charlotte? Awesome. Good. So we got great representation all the way across the board. I always like seeing that. Little history first before we go into the future about where we're at quality. As AJ said, when Preston started the firm and started this design build concept, he kept getting the question of, who's watching the chicken coop? I got the architects and engineers over here. I got the contractors over here. We're used to seeing them divided. How is everything being observed? How is that being monitored to make sure I'm getting what I paid for, getting the quality job that I'm supposed to get by our contract? So Mr. Haskell decided to go ahead and start this quality control group that has evolved through the years. And it was for the strict attempt to make a two-legged stool a three-legged stool, just like in the traditional design bid build world. So after that, it has gone through various evolutions. And I hit the wrong button. With that one. So just talked about the history a little bit. We have literally in the last 3 months gone through a reorg in our group. Tom Grogan had been the director of the group for many years, almost 7 years if I remember right. But he was also head of the structural engineering group. So he was running the entire structural engineering group, the entire quality group, and as we've grown, both those tasks became quite a bit to deal with. So they split the tasks up. Tom did an incredible job of getting us to that next phase of quality and making sure we are monitoring our projects the way we should. Our new director is Kevin Kett. He's a 20-plus year veteran of Haskell. And we have grown in the first 3 months of the existence of Kevin's direction. We've grown 50% in our employees because we found that we were not servicing every product line and every situation that we could as we move forward. Talk about this was the original statement that Mr. Haskell made many years ago in the quality group. I'm not going to read it word for word, but the bottom line is we want to have a world-class organization to deliver that world-class product. And we do that through everybody's efforts, but key amongst those is making sure we're paying attention to the quality. We just heard a lot about the marketing and trying to get into new markets, new clients, and all that kind of stuff. But one of the great statements I always like hearing about our firm is up until last year, I think the number was, we have an 80% repeat client business. That's huge. That means we're doing our job as a firm. That's incredible. You're not going to hear firms have that kind of statistics. Higher quality finished products. One of the biggest growths in our company is the interior design. We are really upping that game. The inclusion of Freeman White in our purchases, in merging the firms together, that style of architecture, getting onto that cutting edge and delivering a better product. Improved customer satisfaction. We have a system where we go through all of our clients at the end of a project, and it's actually at several spots during the project, and we do surveys about how we're performing as a team and how we're performing as a group, and I can go into that a little bit more in just a minute. Quality function, critical success of an integrated design build. One of the things we make sure that we do is we are involved in the process from day one. We're getting involved in the risk assessment charts that have been developed here recently. We have always been involved from design forward. We help conduct the design reviews. We help conduct the peer reviews and the integrated design reviews. But the other thing that we've also started doing more of in the last 6 months is what we're calling our SME review. That's subject matter expert. That's one of the leading things that we're starting to focus on in our group. We're getting people on board who have a very specific knowledge of a section of our industry. The two I like to use most is Kevin Kett, our director, and the gentleman that works with him directly, his name is Mike Montgomery. Their entire focus is building envelope, making sure we keep our buildings dry, and keeping the water out of those buildings, because one of our biggest warranty calls about 15 years ago was water penetration in the building. When Kevin got involved, we've slowly reduced that warranty factor. And then the other one is Russell Newdeck. Russell Newdeck is our soils, geotech, concrete, and asphalt expert. There's nothing about dirt the guy doesn't know. He knows way too much about dirt. And the bottom line is that he can help you get your geotech report, analyze that geotech report, then debate with the geotech engineer the best way to go about putting a foundation systems in. He has helped save numerous amounts of money. You can't even begin to add up the money he has saved by helping in those efforts in design, not when it gets construction. That's very important. And the other part is the diminished owner's concerns, like I was saying about where Mr. Haskell was looking at making sure that somebody is watching the process from beginning to end. We are an independent organization, just like safety is. We do not report to the construction side. We do not report to the A&E side. We are our own entity. Everyone is empowered to build it right the first time. Drive the culture of the quality. If you, just like in safety, don't accept an unsafe condition, if you see quality that is not going in the way you know it's not supposed to go in, then you need to say something. One of the things safety is doing recently is called the Take 5 survey. And on the Take 5 survey, they interview somebody in the field and they go through the safety aspects of, do you feel like if you have a problem you can report it, and how would you go about it? We're getting ready to launch the same thing from the quality side. Are you seeing things going in the way they're supposed to? If not, do you feel you have the ability to report that to your superiors to make sure we are doing it right? So we want to empower that culture of quality throughout the organization, not just the quality control guys. And speaking of those guys, Kevin Kett is the new director of the department. Like I say, he's been here 20 plus years. Building envelope is his area. And then there's Susan Payne, who actually really runs the organization. She keeps everybody in line and keeps us going. Russell Newdeck, Mike Montgomery, who works with Kevin on the building envelope. Gary Weiler, who is in the Charlotte office, another one of our subject matter experts. His area is specifically welding, but also tanks, valves, pumps, anything with the processing side of what we do. We're trying to exploit that even more over into our water group side, because there's a lot of similarities there, especially when it comes to welding, you know, pipes, flanges, bolted connections, and all that kind of stuff, especially when you get into pumps and all that. Then I'm the quality manager. My basic responsibility is all the guys that are in the quality department, what are they assigned to? Whether that's a full-time on-site assignment, which is mostly our federal work, or whether it's guys we have in the office that go from job to job to job, you know, and they're every 2 weeks or so, just to making sure everything's going in the way it's supposed to. Mike Whitman's been here almost 17 years. Manuel, 6 years. Gary's over 20. RJ's one of our new guys. He's been here about 3 months now. Mark Four is had been with Benham for almost 10 years, but he expressed an interest in coming over to quality, so we have brought him on. He is our first regional employee, and he works out of our Tulsa office. Ahmed's out at Job on Site, and so are Warner Velasco. Ramsey is also new to us. Ramsey's is going to be on-site full-time at a private job, which is something new for us. Typically, it's always a military job or a federal job of some sort. And we've got some people that we're adding here to grow that side of it. Tom Langley, welding inspector. There's nothing about a weld he can't help you fix or make better. So that's the team as it stands now. We've got plans for this year to grow by at least 5 more folks, really training on those subject matter experts and how we can grow that. Here's some of those areas. Building envelope, like I said, Kevin Kett. Geotech with Russell, and then Gary Weiler. And then the QA coordinators. Mike Waitman's a registered roof observer. He will eventually grow into that building envelope position down the road, but he's really interested in roofs right now, so that's where he's doing his groundwork. And my background is architectural. I came up through the traditional side of the design. My degree is in architecture. That's where I came from. But I've always enjoyed being in the field, and if you're an architect, that's a great thing, but you spend a lot of time in the office. I wanted to get out to the field more, so that's where that came from. And the metrics on how we go through this. We have a process that's called the Quality Implementation Plan. It's much easier to say QIP, to be able to walk through that. What we do is we establish at the beginning of every job who's on the team, what are the design requirements, what are the construction requirements, and we rate those in different factors. I used to have a slide up here that showed the QIP, but we are right now redesigning the QIP, so if I showed it to you in 3 months, it's not going to be there anyway, so we can go through that at a different time. What we try to do is at least once a quarter, for ops, have the scores that are recorded on our success rate of the initiatives that we've established for each job. Those are reported to ops, and we track those changes and we track the corrective actions. One of the things we're going to try to get into more and more is tracking warranty work and rework. On the job site, put it in wrong, got to take it out, got to put it back. That takes time, that takes money, that takes effort. If we can come up with a program on that entity, whatever it may be, whether be asphalt or windows, if we can do it one time, we save money and we save time. And then we have customer satisfaction surveys. These are set out twice during the project. Sometime right about the end of design, and then the other time right about the end of the project. How'd we do? And what we try to do is come up with a net promoter score. And you've got to have a degree in physics to figure it out. But the bottom line is you want to have a net promoter score. You ever go to buy a car and at the end of the car sale, you're driving off and you're happy in your brand new little car, and the salesman comes to you and says, you're going to get a survey in a couple days. Please give me all 10s because you're really happy with this. What good did that do? You don't know what feedback you're going to get as that salesman. Could you have done this better? Could you have done? We ask for incredibly open and honest scores. We want to know where we did well, where we did bad, what we can improve on. Let's go to the next one. On the QIP, like I said just a minute ago, design, we measure the quality of the document. One of the things we do is we go through the documents at 100%, usually when it's in permitting, and we review the documents, and we come up with a grade to the documents. If we have a grade that is low, we ask the questions why. We had a job recently up in Beaufort, South Carolina, that after we went through the documents, everybody began to be concerned about the documents. So we held a second and a third design review of the drawings just to make sure that we were feeling better about the documents. Took a little bit more time, took a little bit more money, but the guys in the field were feeling a lot better about this. I was just up there. Matter of fact, I was up there this morning, and I got out just before the cold came, so I came back down here to do this presentation. Quality risks, we list the top 6, 7, 8 things that the design team and the construction team is worried about. We list what the issue is, what the problem could occur, and then a mitigation plan on how we're going to make sure we don't wind up in that trap. Pre-cons, we make sure we hold the critical pre-cons. There'll be a lot of times where everybody gets in a hurry and sometimes we skip a pre-con we shouldn't do. First work in place, periodic observations. First work in place is my favorite. One of my favorite ones I ever did was a window installation up in Newport, Rhode Island. And I show up, the window installation crew shows up. There was a vice president, the president of the window installation company, and 3 foremen. And we literally walked through every step of installing that window 3 times. By the time we got to the third, we got it set. We never had a warranty call or a leak in those windows. And there were close to 60 windows on that project, and they were all facing the ocean. So it was a real claim. We were very proud of that. Closeout and punch list, it's just, those are things we just got to go through, but there's always a process, a procedure. We want to make sure we're going through those accurately. It's just something I want every one of you to memorize. It is mandatory for every Haskell project to develop, maintain, and execute a QIP. No exceptions. If there's an exception established, it's established by Kevin Kett, period. What we want to do is we want to make sure that we are tracking the quality of the job, the installations, the processes and procedures. If you don't have one, you need to ask the question why you don't have one, and you call Kevin or you call me, and we will help you get one set up. We'll help you monitor it, we'll help you program it, we'll stay involved as much as we need to, but we'll also let you do it, and we'll just check back in with you. We just need to make sure that we're going through the process. If you don't have one, if you're working on a project now and no one's ever talked to you about the QIP, ask the question why, give me a call. This is the project report card for the customer satisfaction surveys. This one's from Nestle Waters. It's just a setup on how that looks. And then here are some of the scoring features to that. It's graded out, and we come up with a number. If the scorecard comes back as a 7 or 8, that's a neutral, and that score just gets thrown out. If it comes back as a 9 or a 10, that's a net promoter. 6 or less is a net distractor. Then there's a formula that kicks in, and you want to be able to be over 70% in our industry is what we found, and it's working very well. Just as a point of reference, when the airline industry does these, they hope to have a 0. And we're trying to get up in the mid ranges. And this is the big one. Would you recommend us for another job to one of your competitors or someone else similar in the industry? Any comments that you had? And we're always looking for that 9 or 10. We'll take a 7 or 8 because it doesn't hurt us. But if we get a 6, you're going to get a follow-up phone call. Why? What did we do? What can we do better to make sure all that happens? To help move the needle, we need to do something different regarding the quality of your work today. We're looking for commitment, not compliance. How many times do you do something just to do it and get it done and get it over with, but your heart wasn't really into it? I do it every day. So sometimes you just got to get through that motion. But what we're looking for is going that extra effort, making sure if something's going in not the way it's supposed to, mention it to somebody. Mention it to your supervisor. Go get the superintendent. Go to the design manager and go, I'm not liking this. Make a commitment to the overall increased quality for the project.